Russ from Pilates Guy, and I've just created a pretty comprehensive full body stretch, and this should just loosen up and either set you up for the day and just sort of get you moving and feeling a bit more loose before the day starts, or at the end of the day, if you're feeling a sort of bit tired, a bit tight, you know, whatnot, then this would be a good way to kind of loosen up at the end of the day. Or you could use this after training, although you probably want to do more specific stretching depending what or how you have been training. So let's start off with our next. So just standing up nice and tall, shoulders back and down. Think about lengthening your fingertips towards the floor a little bit, and just take a big breath in. Breathe out as you relax one ear down towards your shoulder, or think about lengthening your other ear up toward the ceiling, and just hold there for a breath. And then come back to the middle, and then we're going to go the other way. Big breath in, breathe out, stretch. And just think about lengthening the ear up toward the ceiling, and just hold there for a breath. And then we'll come back to the middle. Get out one more time each side. Big breath in, breathe out, stretch. Keeping shoulders back and down, lengthening fingertips towards the floor. You will feel more of a stretch into your shoulder. Big breath in, breathe out, stretch to the other side. Keeping those shoulders back and down. Keep lengthening through the neck. Big breath in, coming back to the middle. Just roll your shoulders. And we're just going to take our head through another little stretch. So big breath in, breathe out, look over one shoulder until you feel a bit of a stretch, a bit of discomfort. Big breath in here. Breathe out, stretch. Breathe into the middle. Breathe out as you go the other way. Keeping shoulders back and down, lengthening fingertips towards the floor. One more time each side. Don't force it, don't make it painful, just easing into that tension. And then coming back to the middle, we're going to go up toward the ceiling. Big breath in, breathe out, lengthen chin up toward the ceiling. Big breath in. Another breath in. Back to the middle, then chin to chest, head toward the floor. And then one more time. One more time. Chin to chest. And then bringing it back to the middle. All right, we're going to stretch into the sides of our back and into our sides now. So all I want you to do is just take your left foot and loop it around and back behind your right foot. And then we're going to stretch to our right. So right fingertips on the right leg, and just come into a bit of a side bend, pushing that left hip out to the side. And you should feel a deep stretch into the side of the back and into your obliques down the side there. Just take a couple of breaths. If you want to make this a little more intense, reach your arm up and over into a slightly deeper stretch, stretching into the QL and the obliques a little bit. And then we're just going to relax. We're going to uncross the legs, and we're going to cross over the other way. So right leg, right foot swapping around the other side of the left, and then fingertips run down the left side toward the knee. And if you want to just intensify this a little bit, there is a bit of balance going on here. If you need to be near a wall, you can take the other arm up and over into a slightly deeper stretch here, just breathing into this. So if you need to be near a wall with fingertips on a wall or a chair or something, that's absolutely fine. Let's just relax here. We'll do that one more time on each side. So swap, looping the feet around into the side bend, and then if you want to take the arm up and over, take the arm up and over. Fingertips on the leg, that does help with balance, but say if you do need anything, then have something there. Take a breath. Coming out of this, swapping the legs over, exactly the same the other way, and just you're stretching towards the back foot. If you ever get confused with which way around it is, the foot that's gone around and behind is the stretch that the foot that you stretch over. Just bring it back to the middle. We're going to stretch into our hamstrings first of all. So nice and tall, good posture. I just want you to step your left foot forwards, and then if you've lifted your right heel, push that heel back down and let this leg lengthen into a nice straight line. Flex your foot so your toes are pointing up towards you. Now keep a neutral spine. Big breath in, breathe out, hinge forward, but keep neutral. Don't round into this. Almost think about sticking your bum out and keeping your chest open. And just take a couple of deep breaths, feeling the stretch into the back of the thigh, into that hamstring. And then just push yourself out of this, but we're going to go back in. Exactly the same. Easing into that, foot flex so toes are kind of pointing up towards you, sticking your bum out, opening up your chest, couple of breaths, keeping that spine neutral, or even going into a bit of an arch in that back if it feels okay. That will intensify the stretch. And then relax there, swap the feet around, and then just pushing yourself back into the hamstring stretch. You're letting this leg just bend straightening this leg out, flexing your foot so toes point up towards you, keeping a bit of a neutral spine or a bit of an arch, keeping your chest open, couple of breaths, and then just bringing yourself out of that, and then going back in, exactly the same, toes pointing, pulling up towards you, sticking your bum out almost, opening up your chest, breathing, couple of deep breaths. And then coming out of this, we're getting onto quads. So we're not going really deep into each muscle group, we're doing a little bit for each muscle group. So quads, the best stretch I find for this is, even if you do need to be near something to get your hands on something for balance, it's foot to hand. You've got to get your knees in line. Biggest mistake I see with this one is people don't keep knees in line. And then you tuck your tailbone under, squeeze your bum and ease your hip forwards. And that will get that stretch into the quad. If you want to intensify the stretch, push your foot into your hand, and that will intensify the stretch into your quad and your hip flexors. So keeping that hip forward. Don't let this knee creep forward because it closes off the stretch. If anything, get it back a bit as you push your hip forward. And just after a couple of breaths, relax, give that leg a shake. And we'll go on to the other side, exactly the same. Knees in line, tuck your tailbone, squeeze your bum, push your hip forwards. If ever you're stretching in the middle of a room and you're getting really unsteady, you can always, on one leg, you can always hold one ear. That does help keep you balanced reasonably. It helps a little bit. So just keeping those knees in line, your hip pieces forward. Then relax, give that leg a shake. We'll just do the same again each side. So just bring that foot into the hands, knees in line, tuck tailbone, squeeze your butt, push your hip forwards. And then for more intensity, push your foot into that hand, and that will intensify the stretch. And then relax, exactly the same on the other side. Foot to hand, knees in line, tuck your tailbone, squeeze your bum, push your hip forwards, keep knees in line, push your foot into that hand, couple of deep breaths. And relax and just shake that off a little bit. So we're going to work down into a down dog position. I'm not a yoga instructor, but I'll do the best I can in getting this right. But this is more for your calf stretch. So we're just going to bring ourselves down. Do use your core if you know how to engage your core. Otherwise, watch one of my other videos. We're going to bring ourselves down so we are on hands and feet. You want to try and lengthen your legs up as much as you can. And you want to try and get a point where you can't quite get your heels onto the floor. And from here, get shoulders back and down. Let your head and neck just relaxed. And try and lengthen your tailbone, lengthen your bum up toward the ceiling. And you'll feel a stretch there already. And then we're just going to lengthen the heel down toward the floor. And try and lengthen both down to the floor if you can. If you struggle with that, just gently pedal your feet, trying to get those heels onto the floor a little bit more. You may, if you're quite flexible there, need to take the feet a bit further away to get more of a stretch. But we just want to be feeling those calves stretching. I just try and lengthen both heels down to the floor and just take 4 or 5 deep breaths. Pushing through your hands a little bit. Pushing through your hands, trying to get those heels down. Or pedaling. If you're really tight in those calves, pedaling is a little better. 4 or 5 deep breaths as we're doing this. And then we just relax the knees down. We are going to go back into that same stretch. So when you're ready, big breath in, breathe out, bring yourself back to the down dog. Shoulders are back and down. You're letting your head and neck relax. You're just pushing your heels back. So I need to go a bit further now. My calves have loosened up a bit. So you can gently pulse and pedal, bending the knees if you want, or you can just push through your hands and really try and get those heels down to the floor, lengthening your bum up toward the ceiling. So lengthening through the back of your legs and just breathe. 4 or 5 deep breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring these down. So now I'm going to give you the option of 2 stretches. Option 1's pigeon stretch. Option 2 is on your back. It's a bit easier going if you struggle with pigeon, especially if you've got any knee issues. Pigeon I'll offer first. You can go there from down dog if you want to, or for kneeling. But what I'm going to ask you to do is bring your right knee towards your right hand with your foot turned out towards your left hand. And you want to try and flex your foot here to protect your knee as much as you can. If you could get your shin parallel to the mat in a straight line, great. I can't. But if you can, do. And then we're just going to ease the other leg back behind us. We're trying to keep our hips nice and level. You can stay here if you want to and just feel that deep stretch into your glutes. You can go further by bringing elbows to the floor and just rocking from side to side if you want to. You can reach your arms out in front of you, let your head come to the floor if you want to, and just breathe here. Alternative, if you really struggle, is to come around onto your back, cross your leg, and bring that knee across and up towards your opposite shoulder, and just ease into that. So if you're in your pigeon, just keep deep breathing and relaxing into that as much as you can. Alternative, you lie on your back, you cross your legs, and you bring that knee across your body and up towards your opposite shoulder. And you should feel that stretch into your hip, into the side of the glute there, keeping that tension on, keeping your waistband down. Whichever version you're doing, doesn't have to be elegant, as you just bring yourself out of this stretch, lengthen that leg away, and then we're going to bring the other leg in to either the pigeon, setting yourself up in the same way, lengthen that leg back behind. You can either stay on your hands and rock a little bit, you can bring it to elbows and rock a little bit, you could reach those arms out in front of you, let your head come to the floor, and just rock gently from side to side as you relax into this and breathe. Lengthening that back leg behind you, or it is your 4 points, sorry, you're on your back, knee comes across and over towards your opposite shoulder, stretching into that hip. So unless you do a lot of yoga, if you do a lot of yoga, you'll be doing the pigeon, so you're probably going to feel this stretch. If you bring that knee over and up towards your opposite shoulder, you should be getting that stretch in there. Just take some nice deep breaths in each one. You probably want to take about 6, 7, 8 really nice deep breaths. If you need to stop and then go back in, that's fine. Same in the pigeon. And then once you've done that, just uncross or bring yourself out of your pigeon stretch. I always feel the need to give an alternative to pigeon, because if you've got a knee issue or a hip issue, or just a little bit inflexible and mobile, you're going to really struggle with the pigeon stretch. So I always give that alternative as well. So when you're in pigeon, or say the glute stretch line on your back, just, you know, anything between 6 and 8 really deep breaths, keeping that tension on. Once you've done that each side, we're going to go into our child's pose. We're going to go between child's pose and cobra. So just to demonstrate, we'll be taking a couple of deep breaths in child's pose. We're going to come down to the floor and we're going to push up either into a baby cobra, so not lifting too high, or up into a full cobra. Very important your hips stay on the floor and you don't feel any sharp pain in your back or anything like that. So into child's pose, knees wide, feet together. Push your fingertips forward, push your bum backwards, let your head relax down. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And then we're going to bring ourselves out of this. We're going to come down onto our fronts. Hands either side of your chest, legs relaxed, tailbone slightly tucked. Big breath in, breathe out. Push yourself over to baby cobra. If you want to just get your elbows down, you can, if that's enough for you. Otherwise, push yourself right up, shoulders back and down, chin tucked, a couple of deep breaths here. And your hips have got to stay on the floor. If you're up here, hips off the floor, it's no good, it's no benefit really. So just keep hips down, a couple of deep breaths. We'll bring it back down, we'll go to child's pose. A couple of deep breaths here, we're going to do this 2 more times through. So just stretching the back, but lengthening fingertips does stretch shoulders as well. Back down onto your front, up into cobra, legs relaxed, push yourself up to either baby, cobra with elbows down, or lengthen those arms, shoulders back and down, chin tucked, a couple of deep breaths. Caught myself squeezing my glutes there. Do try and relax your glutes here. And then 1 more time to child's pose. A couple of deep breaths in your child's pose. And then 1 more time onto the floor for our cobra, pushing yourself up. See if you get a little bit further this time, shoulders back and down, chin tucked. Breathe, couple of deep breaths, just relaxing your legs. And then from here, we're just going to bring ourselves to sitting. So sitting or kneeling if you're more comfortable. But we're just going to take one hand up and over behind our head, fingertips between your shoulder blades. Get hold of your elbow with your other hand and bring that elbow in towards your head. Try and stretch your fingertips down between your shoulder blades, but keep your head up tall. Don't let your head get squashed down here, cutting off your air supply. Keep your head up quite tall and proud and breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Encouraging fingertips between your shoulder blades. Feel that stretch into your tricep, but also great for your shoulder mobility. And then relax and roll your shoulders. Take the other one up and over, fingertips between your shoulder blades. Encourage those fingertips between your shoulder blades. Couple of deep breaths. Feeling that stretch through the tricep, but also shoulder, feeling shoulder stretch. 2 or 3 deep breaths, we relax, roll shoulders, take one arm across your body, and then just use your other forearm to bring that in above the elbow you're pulling, in across your body, and just feel a stretch into your shoulder and the back of your arms. Just breathe and pull that in. A few deep breaths here. And then release and roll, and then take that arm across, exactly the same on the other side. Keeping shoulders back and down as you do this, breathe. And then relax and roll your shoulders. Okay, we're going to stretch into adductors. So we've done adductors with our pigeon or our back line glute stretch. So we're going to do adductors, inner thigh. So what we're going to do is just bring your soles of your feet together and try and sit up as tall as you can. And then bring your hands onto your ankles and just pop your elbows on the inner thigh or up to your knees if you can. And sit as tall as you can. Nice big breath in, breathe out, and just start to encourage those knees out to the side until you feel a stretch on the inner thigh. And just hold that for a couple of deep breaths. Trying to relax into it. And then release the tension, and we'll go back in. Couple of deep breaths. And then one more, but if you're finding this is quite easy, maybe your knees are nearly on the floor and you're very flexible, there's a little bit extra you can do here. So exactly the same to begin with, you ease those knees out to the side, but you're going to push back into your elbows with your knees. So you're squeezing elbows into knees, knees into elbows, having a bit of a battle there. A few deep breaths, 2 or 3 deep breaths. Then release the tension and just encourage the knees out a little bit. See if you've got a bit more range there. And then relax, bringing your knees back in, give them a bit of a squeeze in towards you. We're going to go into chest and shoulders opening up now. So we're going to go into our chest opener. Now this one you can do in a variety of ways, but today we're going to do this with our hands, fingers linked behind our head. We're going to lie on our side with our legs bent, feet in line with your bum. You want a nice neutral spine here as well. Don't pull your head forward. Keep your head looking straight forward, so in line with the rest of your spine. Long through your neck, core nice and strong. Elbows are going to come down toward each other. Big breath in, breathe out, open up your elbow, follow your elbow with your nose. When you get to your maximum stretch, you should feel a stretch in your chest and shoulder and your back. Big breath in, and you might feel a stretch in your rib cage. Breathe out as you bring it back. So we're just going to do 5 more of those. So big breath in to prepare. Breathe out as you open. Big breath in when you're open. Breathe out as you close. 4 more. So with big breath in, breathe out as we open. When we're open, big breath in, feeling the stretch, chest, shoulder and spine, back, big breath in. We breathe out as we close. So with 3 more. Do keep knees down, knees together as you do this. Don't allow your knees to open like this or to lift off the floor. Otherwise you won't be stretching into your back as well. We want this deep stretch into back. One more time. Really trying to encourage that elbow further each time. Once you've done that, just relax. We're going to bring it over onto our other side. Exactly the same. Lying down with our legs bent, feet in line with our bum. Neutral spine, neutral neck. Hands behind head. Elbows come together. Knees stay together, knees stay down. So we're going to do 6. Big breath in. Breathe out, open. Big breath in. Breathe out, close. Big breath in. Breathe out, open. Big breath in. Breathe out, close. Make sure you are feeling that stretch in your back, chest and shoulder. So when you're here, you feel that stretch in here, in the chest opening, in the shoulder opening, but also into that back, maybe around the ribs a little bit. So 3 more. We want 6. Trying to keep knees under control. Try not to pull your head forward like this so that it does almost naturally happen. Just try and undo that if it happens. And once you've done 6, just relax. Bring yourself up to sitting and just give your knees a bit of a squeeze into your chest. Really nice tight squeeze in. Let your legs lengthen out in front of you. Fingertips on your knees. Sitting tall. Core engages a little bit. Big breath in. Breathe out, chin to chest, lengthen down towards your feet. Big breath in at the bottom. Breathe out, coming back up, restacking, rebuilding, roll your shoulders. 1 more time. If you want to flex your feet up towards ceiling, it makes it a bit more intense for the stretch in your legs. Big breath in. Chin to chest as we breathe out, lengthen. Big breath in at the bottom. Breathe out as you restack, rebuild, roll your shoulders and relax. So that is just my full body stretch. We hit most major muscle groups. Hopefully loosening up with the breath work and breathing into those stretches should feel hopefully a little bit better for that. Any questions, please feel free to give me a shout. It is info@pilatesguy.co.uk, or you can go to the website and contact me. It's www.pilatesguy.co.uk. If you do head over to the website, you'll see my on-demand page, which has got a lot of videos like this, full Pilates sessions, stretch sessions, variety of levels, some sports specific sessions, as well as beginner courses and that sort of thing. It's a free trial on that at the moment. It's otherwise $7.99 a month, so you can find all the information about that on the website. Otherwise, please like and subscribe to the channel as well, and do feel free to get in touch if you've got any questions. Thanks for watching, and speak to you again soon.